A major breakthrough has just shaken the Tupac Shakur case. According to new court filings out of Las Vegas, investigators have uncovered fresh evidence connected to the rapper's 1996 murder. The document states, "New evidence has been found in the passing of Tupac Shakur by Las Vegas police, and much of it reportedly ties back to information provided by Keefe D, revealing critical details about who was involved and how the plot unfolded." Among the revelations, police pointed to a connection that might have fueled one of hip-hop's darkest rivalries. Back on November 18, 1995, Tupac was photographed with Sarah Chapman, the woman Diddy once called his dream girl and the one. That moment, according to reports, enraged Diddy and allegedly sparked his first move against Tupac, a detail that, until now, had been buried under years of silence and speculation. Tupac once hinted that there were things he could prove, truths powerful enough to back every word he'd ever said, but insisted that some of those truths weren't for the world to know. "It's between me and him," he said, making it clear that only one other man truly understood what happened. Every time that man spoke, it reignited the fire, turning private pain into public chaos. Tupac reminded everyone that he wasn't acting. No one could fake being shot 5 times. The official story claimed he was only hit once, but even the police found evidence that told a very different tale. After that failed attempt on his life, another plot reportedly unfolded. During Diddy's trial, shocking testimony emerged from a former cop who claimed that Diddy paid $1 million to have Tupac taken out, a move that allegedly led Suge Knight to retaliate by ordering Biggie's death. According to later confessions, Diddy had enlisted Keefe D to handle the job, and for more than 2 decades, Keefe D walked free, until his eventual arrest exposed even more details. In an interrogation he didn't realize was being recorded, Keefe D confirmed that Diddy was at the center of it all. Investigators asked which meetings he'd spoken to Diddy at: San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, or Vegas, and his answer was chilling. Every one of them. He explained that the conversations weren't just about Tupac, but also about Suge Knight, both marked men. Years later, when Diddy was confronted about these claims in an on-camera interview, he tried to dismiss it all. "We don't entertain nonsense," he said calmly, brushing off the accusations with practiced composure. Yet beneath the surface, that same question still lingers, one that even time and fame haven't erased. How much truth hides behind the stories the world was never meant to hear? When Diddy was pressed about his alleged involvement in Tupac's murder, he brushed it off with confidence, calling it nonsense and refusing to entertain the claims. But despite his dismissive tone, the trial records painted a different picture. His name reportedly came up 77 times during the proceedings. The case reignited after Keefe D, the self-proclaimed hitman, claimed that every move made that night was carried out under Diddy's direction, and that the job was easier than he expected. Meanwhile, author Jeff Pullman, who penned a Tupac biography, stirred controversy by portraying the late rapper as more of a performer than a street soldier. He suggested that Tupac's thug life persona was something he method-acted, claiming that the rapper wasn't skilled with weapons, couldn't fight, and had been sold a false image of toughness that he eventually began to believe himself. The story caught wildfire again after 50 Cent took to the stage and boldly called out Diddy in front of thousands, implying that Diddy was behind Tupac's death. The moment went viral, part shock, part spectacle, as the crowd gasped at his words. But the deeper investigators dug, the more tangled the story became. A newly released police report revealed that Diddy may not have acted alone, naming Suge Knight as another key figure in the plot. Even Eminem publicly pointed fingers at Knight, accusing him of being responsible for the deaths of both Tupac and Biggie, and claiming that if Biggie were still alive, he'd confirm it himself. Former LAPD detective Russell Poole, who later took over the case, became convinced that Knight orchestrated Tupac's murder to prevent him from leaving death row records. Poole believed Knight manipulated the scene, framing a rival street crew known as the Blue Team to mislead authorities. And in an unexpected twist, Snoop Dogg revealed in a podcast that he was originally supposed to ride in the same car as Tupac on that fatal night, but backed out at the last minute. That single decision, he admitted, may have saved his life, adding yet another haunting what if to one of hip-hop's greatest tragedies. In the days leading up to Tupac's death, his relationship with Snoop Dogg took a sudden turn for the worse. What had once been a brother-like bond quickly soured after a radio interview Snoop did with Angie Martinez. When asked about Puffy and Biggie, Snoop casually said he respected their music and would even be open to collaborating with them. That one comment struck a nerve with Tupac, who saw it as a betrayal during one of the most heated East Coast-West Coast rivalries in hip-hop history. Snoop later explained that after the interview, the atmosphere shifted completely. On their flight back to Los Angeles, he felt uneasy. His instincts told him something wasn't right. He even admitted to sleeping under a blanket with a knife and fork within reach, just in case things went sideways. The tension between them was so thick that it felt like an invisible wall had been built overnight. Their falling out became even more suspicious when Tupac was killed just 72 hours later. Some believe Snoop, who was deeply connected to the streets at that time, may have heard whispers that danger was coming and chose to distance himself to stay safe. Looking back, Snoop reflected on how strange it all felt. A week before, we were brothers. 2 days before, I don't even think he liked me. He admitted that while Tupac was still consumed by anger toward Biggie and Bad Boy, Snoop had already moved past it. They shot at me, did me wrong, he said, but I forgave them. I wasn't thinking about how Pac felt. I was thinking about peace. That difference in mindset may have been the final crack in one of hip-hop's most legendary friendships, one that ended just days before tragedy struck. Snoop later explained that back then, he wasn't chasing controversy. He was just speaking from a heart. I liked their music, he said. We were all cool once. There's footage of us hanging out, laughing together. But that sense of unity was long gone by the time tragedy struck. According to police records, the chain of events on the night of Tupac's death has now been pieced together in chilling detail. On September 7, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas with Suge Knight to watch Mike Tyson's fight at the MGM Grand. The match ended quickly, and as the crowd spilled out of the arena, Tupac spotted someone he recognized, Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, a known rival. Enraged, Tupac confronted him in the hotel lobby, and chaos erupted. Surveillance footage captured the brief, but violent scuffle before security stepped in. That confrontation set off a chain reaction. Anderson's uncle, Keefe D., who years later confessed in a police proffer that couldn't be used against him, claimed the shooting that followed was payback for that fight. Tupac, Suge, and their crew left the MGM and went back to their hotel to change, still buzzing from the adrenaline. They then jumped into Suge's black BMW, planning to hit Club 662 for an afterparty. Meanwhile, Keefe D., Anderson, and 2 others climbed into a white Cadillac, scouring the Las Vegas Strip for Tupac's convoy. They eventually spotted it at the intersection of East Flamingo and Koval Lane. As the car stopped at a red light, the Cadillac pulled up beside the BMW. The back window slid down, and within seconds, gunfire erupted. Tupac was hit multiple times. Twice in the chest, once in the arm, and once in the thigh. For years, the case remained clouded by silence and speculation. But when Keefe D. sat down for a now infamous interview with DJ Vlad, his first-hand account of that night reignited public outrage and gave investigators new insight into one of the most haunting mysteries in hip-hop history. In case you didn't know, the man long believed to have pulled the trigger on Tupac Shakur was Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, a known member of the South Side Crips. Though he was never officially charged, Anderson was the prime suspect from day one. Before authorities could move forward with serious charges, he was killed in another street shootout in 1998. There were reportedly 4 men in the white Cadillac that night, one of them being Keefe D., who later admitted to orchestrating the hit. According to Keefe, the entire operation was carried out under Diddy's direction. Still, in a later interview, Keefe D. tried to frame the situation as self-defense, claiming Tupac was reaching for a weapon. "You said as you pulled up to the BMW, it looked like Tupac was reaching?" the interviewer asked. "Yeah," Keefe replied. "It looked like that. Once he started reaching, I started jumping." But when pressed further, he admitted he never actually saw a gun. That detail left many wondering whether Tupac truly made any move at all, or if that was just an excuse made after the fact. Some believe Tupac recognized the men from the MGM Grand altercation earlier that night and instinctively reacted, sensing danger before it was too late. What's strange is that Keefe D was interviewed by detectives shortly after the shooting, yet he was never charged. During that conversation, he described the moments before the shooting. Suge glanced over and locked eyes with him while Tupac moved around in the passenger seat, seemingly caught off guard. Seconds later, the shots rang out. Later, Keefe D reflected on that night with apparent regret. "I hate what happened, man. It messed up so many lives. It was just wrong. I wish it never happened," he admitted. But the deeper you dig into the case files, the stranger things get. A small section of the report references an unbelievable theory that Tupac might not have died at all. According to one former officer, Tupac was allegedly an industry plant placed by federal authorities to bridge peace between rival gangs. The officer claimed that Tupac's thug life persona was a calculated image, part of an effort, alongside his stepfather, Mutula Shakur, to unite communities under a message of empowerment and peace. Tupac's first business manager and political mentor, Chokwe Lumumba, supported that idea to some extent. He once revealed that Tupac deliberately leaned into the outlaw identity to reach the youth and encourage peace treaties between rival sets across California. He wasn't really a gangster, Lumumba explained. He was an intellectual. Thug life was a message, not a lifestyle. Whether that theory holds any truth or not, one thing is certain. Tupac's story remains layered in mystery. His passing left behind unanswered questions, conflicting reports, and whispers that perhaps, somewhere out there, the man who changed hip-hop forever might still be alive. In 2010, rapper Trey sat down for what seemed like a routine pre-show interview until the cameras stopped rolling. The cameraman lowered his device, signaling that they were off the record, and casually asked Trey when he last saw Tupac. Most people would pause, maybe even question why someone would bring that up about a friend who had supposedly died 14 years earlier. But Trey didn't hesitate for even a second. His answer was quick, almost reflexive. "I last saw him in Cuba." The exchange was brief but chilling. The clip fell off like something real had accidentally slipped through. And just a few weeks later, the internet caught fire when a blurry video surfaced online showing a man in Cuba who looked almost identical to Tupac Shakur. The man in the clip smiled, waved, and even stopped to sign autographs. The footage spread fast, fueling the now infamous "Tupac is alive in Cuba" theory that refuses to die even decades later. Adding even more fuel to the mystery, Suge Knight, the man who was in the car with Tupac the night of the shooting, has repeatedly claimed that Tupac didn't die in that hospital. According to Knight, when he left the hospital room, Tupac was awake, alert, and even joking with him. "When I left, we were laughing and talking. I don't see how someone can go from doing fine to being gone," Suge said in one interview. When pressed on whether he truly believed Tupac might still be alive, Knight simply replied, "You never know." He's repeated that same story for years, in interviews from 2008, 2014, and beyond, insisting that Tupac was conscious after surgery and even spoke before they left. But police records tell a different story. Officers reported that Tupac was placed in a medically induced coma after surgery, contradicting Knight's claims. Still, Suge has never backed down from his version, and what's even stranger is what happened next. Just 2 weeks after publicly suggesting that Tupac might still be alive, Suge Knight was ambushed outside a club. A gunman fired 6 shots in his direction, narrowly missing him. Knight refused to cooperate with police afterward, allegedly believing that the shooting was a direct warning, punishment for speaking too openly about Tupac's fate. Whether Suge was protecting a secret or simply keeping a myth alive, his words reignited one of hip-hop's most enduring conspiracies, that somewhere, far away from the chaos, Tupac Shakur may still be out there, watching the world argue over whether he's truly gone. Suge Knight Jr. reignited the flames of the Tupac conspiracy in 2018 when he boldly claimed that the late rapper was not only alive but living quietly in Malaysia. His posts sent shockwaves across social media, especially when he followed up with a screenshot of a chilling message that read, "You said too much. It's time for you to go." Instead of backing down, Knight Jr. doubled down, flooding Instagram with supposed proof. Among his posts were photos showing Tupac alongside modern-day stars like 50 Cent and Beyoncé, images that immediately sparked both disbelief and fascination. Of course, the idea of Tupac posing with artists who rose to fame long after his 1996 death defied all logic. Still, Knight Jr. added fuel to the fire by captioning one of the posts, "He never left us. They'll be after me soon." Many dismissed his claims as an attention grab, a viral stunt designed to chase headlines and social media buzz. But others argued that if anyone would know the truth, it would be someone from the Knight family. After all, Suge Knight Sr. was there that fateful night in Las Vegas and had managed much of Tupac's career. Whether Suge Jr. was exposing a buried truth or simply playing into legend, his words once again blurred the line between myth and reality in the enduring mystery of Tupac Shakur.